we'd have to go all the way back to the early 1990s in Texas, where my family had a small screen printing business like many people in the United States do. We grew up supporting local little leagues, church groups, high school bands. I grew up washing screens in the afternoon after school, wooden frames. We had 2 manual screen printing machines, so I learned from the ground up, worked there all through junior high and high school. Then after university, came back into the family business and just dove into it. Bought our first automatic in 2001, and it was off to the races after that. And so it's been a fun evolution. I guess it's been almost 30 years later now. So I've seen the industry go from, precision clamshell ovals to, what ROQ's doing today with their modern ovals, and it's been quite an evolution. I did. Like many people in a family business, I grew up in that family business and went to college. And then after college, did not want to be in the family business. I did not want to be a screen printer. It's something that I didn't actively pursue, but I went out in the corporate world, and like many people do in their 20s, they realized that the real world is maybe not what we thought it was going to be like. And so I went to my first trade show. It would have been 2001 ISS Long Beach. Went with my mom and dad, and my eyes just opened up. I remember seeing the M&R booth there and all the amazing things they were doing with flocks and foils. And I remember seeing big 18-head Tajima embroidery machines, and this whole world of screen printing and embroidery that I knew nothing about. And from there, it did become a passion. And what I did during the day is I learned how to sell during the day, and on the weekends I learned how to print. And one thing my parents always told me, if I sold it, I better be able to print it. So the first thing I did is I learned how to print. And so, everything from mesh selections to inks to automatic equipment. I've been doing it a long time, for sure. I like to believe I've got a great relationship with a lot of the manufacturers in this business, but I met ROQ, it would have been, I guess, Joao, 2014, 2015, I was hired by a private equity group. They were buying up some screen printers on the West Coast, and they combined all these screen printers into one company, and they hired me to come in and build a factory. And through my due diligence of building that factory, I came across ROQ. Their distributor, I think at the time, was Ryanette. I met the team at Ryanette, and I think what drove me initially to ROQ was I liked the idea that they were new. I liked the idea that they'd been in business for 40 years. But that they were relatively new to the U.S. market. For me, I knew that I'd be a priority to them, and I was. Some of the things they were doing at the time with their technology, such as the aluminum pallets, ease of registration, their micros, these are things that, to me, I thought they were ahead of the game at the time. And so we ended up purchasing all ROQ equipment to build that factory, and that would have been my first, working relationship with ROQ. And I'd like to believe it's been a good relationship ever since. Well, yeah, it's, I know I would say that, one thing that sets ROQ apart from most of the manufacturers in the digital, I know that, I know that M&R is doing a lot of things themselves, which I think is important for anybody who's looking for an automatic press. I think it's really important to identify future-proofing your upgrades. So what I mean by that is, maybe right now you're not looking for a hybrid. Right now you're not looking for a digital solution, but right now you should be considering that you might want to look for that in the future. And what I mean by that is that it's important to find a manufacturer who's doing a really good job with the analog equipment, but who's also doing their own digital solution. As you know, ROQ is the manufacturer of both the analog and their digital solution. My understanding is on the digital solution, ROQ is making the boards, the chipsets. They're doing their own programming. They have their own engineers. And so, look, things go wrong, right? Support, training. It's important to have one manufacturer to go to that can support both the analog piece of the equipment and the digital piece of equipment. If you go with 2 different manufacturers, something goes wrong, inevitably the manufacturers are going to point fingers. So to my knowledge, the best 2 manufacturers right now, whether it be M&R or ROQ, those are the 2 companies you should be looking at for future proofing. And I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those on the digital side. On the analog side, I'm biased because I have ROQ ovals, but nobody makes a better oval. You know, I've got factories in Vietnam, Bangladesh, El Salvador, all over the world. And, you know, it's not always as easy to get a technician into those factories. And so you can only do so much through a WhatsApp conversation. Knowing that that machine is going to hold registration for the life of it is really important.